Today, I'm getting spectacularly annoyed about a phrase, and that phrase is learning difficulties. It's a label that's applied to a lot of people who are struggling at school, can't fit in with the curriculum, aren't doing so well. Now, I've taught a lot of people. I've taught them practical skills, I've taught them theoretical skills, I've taught diplomas, HNDs, HNCs, all the way through. And I've seen a lot of people who've been labelled as having learning difficulties. And what I've found is that there's a different way of teaching them. And you engage them right and explain things in the right way, and hey presto, they can learn really, really well. They're really keen, they get fired up. A lot of people who get labelled like that are particularly good at practical skills, like engineering. Now, engineering is a really, really creative art. You have to have a lot of imagination. If you're doing mechanical engineering, you need to be able to imagine structures in your own mind and turn them around and imagine forces flowing through things. Now, not everyone can do that. If I tell you to imagine a curved bridge mounted between 2 points, what are the forces on the end point mounts? Are they pulling up or pulling down? If you can imagine what I've just said and think about the forces on those mounts, then great, you've got that ability. Most people won't. They'll need a diagram or a picture in order to actually imagine it. And that's fine because everyone's different. But these labels really don't help because different people get labelled and then they get channeled. And then they find that their life doesn't have as many opportunities as other people. And that's just wrong. A lot of people who are labelled with learning disabilities or learning difficulties or behavioural issues, it turns out they're deeply frustrated because they want to learn, they want to find out about things, but the system just doesn't allow them to do that. It's like the odds are stacked against them. And all of a sudden, all their aspirations, their dreams, what could you be as a child? And they're thinking about, I want to be an astronaut or an airplane pilot or whatever. And they find their dreams are slipping through their fingers. And that's going to make you pretty frustrated. Is that going to lead to behavioural issues at school? Yes, it really is. Frustration, annoyance, being told to do this, that, and the other without understanding why, and nobody answers the questions. Yeah, learning difficulties. I don't think it is learning difficulties. I think 9 times out of 10, it's actually teaching difficulties. Because a kid doesn't fit into the way that someone else thinks they should learn, they get a label. They get channeled, and that's it. Well, that's wrong. Now, I've been teaching a lot of practical skills here in my workshop recently, and I found a lot of kids who are struggling at school really light up when we start getting through some of these really quite complex concepts that we deal with here. They're fine, they're bright, they're intelligent, they're creative, they want to learn, but school just didn't let them do that. That's not right. I don't like these labels. Learning difficulties, nah, go away. Just teaching difficulties. It's time we change this. And this whole thing about being on the spectrum, more labels, get rid of it. It's time for a change.